Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Okay, today I'm going to tell you about, I'm going to upgrade my lighting in the shop. If you remember, 3 years ago I did a video about a decision I made to put lights in my shop. I had some 4-footers in here, fluorescent bulbs, 2 bulbs per fixture. Those things were just all garbage. They've really been in there a long time apparently. And so anyway, I ripped them all out. And I went to this. The single standard light bulb fixture everywhere that I had one. There were 3 banks of 4 lights each in here. So basically I put 12 of these in place of those 4-footers. And believe it or not, I went to using the CFL bulb in the fixture. This is the one the government was pushing back then big time, getting rid of the incandescent bulb and going to this. So and this has 1600 lumens, so it wasn't too bad. But I helped it out a little bit by putting this little cardboard and tin foil, and I had put adhesive on it to put it together, bent it out to make the shape, and then I just put that on there, and then I screwed it in. And for several years, this helped give me a little bit of reflecting from this, and that actually worked quite well in the shop, and I had pretty adequate light. The beauty of it is compared to the incandescent bulb, in I think the last 3 years anyway, I have only replaced 2 bulbs in this shop with that. That ain't too bad of a batting average, but it's time to change. They finally have arrived, in my opinion, with the LED lighting. The really cool thing is that when they first started really developing them, they were only coming out with 2 styles, either the 4-foot LED strip lighting or this little LED floodlight. And those were the only 2 LED choices that you really had. So I wasn't ready to make the change. Well, finally this year, we've run across the new LED light. And that's these fellas right here. There's usually 3 panels on them that actually pivot. But the beauty of it is, these things fit into the standard fixture. Same fixture that the incandescent and the CFL bulbs all fit. So this is what I'm going to put in here. In fact, a couple of months ago, a little over a month ago, I put one right here above my workbench. And it really was so much brighter because I went from this one, which was a little bigger bulb. This only had 42 watts, but it put out like 1800 lumens. And this one only puts out 1600, which, like I said, wasn't bad with 12 of them in here. It worked okay. It was good. But when I took this out and I put this one in here, it was an 80-watt version. And boy, did it make a big difference. It's a heck of a lot brighter in here from that one in this area. So since then, I've decided to go with more. Now, I paid $36 for that one from Amazon, and I'll leave a link to it. But I did take, and I decided to go to the 60-watt instead of the 80-watt. This thing still puts out 6,000 lumens. So compared to 1,600, it's still a big improvement for the same fixture. And it draws 60 watts of power. So I bought 2 more of these, which I'll put in here. And I bought this one here, which is similar, except for it has 4 wings on it, and everything, the center and all 4 wings have a diffusing lens on it over completely, and the whole thing is white. And I put this in my kitchen, and I'll tell you what, the kitchen is so much brighter from this single light here than it ever was with that 3-light fixture that I used to have in there with three of these things in. So I'm quite impressed. I'll leave a link to this one, a link to this one, and a link to the 80-watt if you are interested in that. The difference is, this one cost me about $14, I believe. This one cost me $17, and that one cost me $36. So going from 80 to 60 watts, you really can save a lot of money. And I have one of each up here now, and I really can't tell much of a difference between the 2. So these are well worth it. And I don't think I'm going to need 12 of them in here either. This thing is so bright. So I'm probably going to put about 6 or 8 of them in here before I'm done. And this is my new lighting. The beauty of it is, when I made the decision to go to these instead of 4-footers again, now I can make an upgrade one more time to these, and I don't have to do anything other than unscrew and screw in the light bulb. Putting this in in the shop was really a great idea. Even now, if you're getting ready to do your lighting, rather than buying those 4-footers, I would go with buying this type of fixture and using this to get the job done. So that's what I'm going to do. I just wanted to let you guys know. So we cut to the chase. So those of you that love to hear that but hate it when I start rambling, this is probably when you want to leave. But please come back again because I'm nowhere near done, especially today. So we'll give them a minute to kind of go ahead and go on their way, because I know there are some of them that say, oh, God, I'm tired of listening to him. Yeah, I think they're all gone now. So let's do a little rambling. I want you to know that when I first started off on this was really kind of good, a great deal, because when I went to these, I knew I had the flexibility of changing out my lighting for all of them, and I know that I wouldn't have to change everything and rewire just to put a different bulb in. I knew eventually they would come up with a good fixture, LED fixture for these. And as I thought, they sure have. Now, if you go out and look at, and I just went out to Amazon, you can probably find them everywhere, all different designs. They have one of these that actually have the 3 wings on it, but when you fold it down flat, it makes a full circle lighting with a little bit of the vents in between each of them, and the rest of this is all filled with LED lights and LED lights here. So it's nice, big, round fixture up there with light coming down from this thing. And I think it's like 12,000 lumens. So if you're gonna use those, you better be wearing sunglasses in the shop too, because that's got a lot of light. Actually, that would be awesome. If you have a real high ceiling, that's the light you want to use instead of these. I have an 8-foot ceiling, and these 60 watters do the job without any problem. So don't be afraid to try one and see how they work, and try one first. But just remember, if you think about it, for $1 for an inexpensive fixture like this, $17 for this, so less than $20, I can have a light in my shop that really puts out 6,000 lumens. And the beauty of it is, this thing was supposed to be designed to last 2,000 or 2,500 hours or something. And this thing is projected to go 50,000 hours. So in all reality, I probably will never have to buy another light for this fixture once I put this up there. It's going to be plenty of light, and it's going to be less than 20 bucks a piece as I put them up. It just doesn't get any cheaper than that. So if you're going to go with inexpensive lighting, or you want to change out your lighting, I recommend going to the standard fixture and going to these type of lights. Now, there's some of you that obviously don't live here in America, and I understand that. And honestly, I don't know what the standard bulb is or light fixture is in the country that you live in, whether you're in Europe, in Australia, South America, Africa, wherever it is. You have your own standard bulb that they've been using for a long time, I bet. And I would venture a guess that whatever that standard bulb is for the inexpensive fixtures you can buy, that's what you want to go with. Because eventually, they do come out with light fixtures that will fit that really are awesome. But I wanted to make sure that's clear. Now, I will tell you that when I was using these, I did do one thing different, because they're okay, but they really had a little bit of not quite enough. It was just so close. So if you check back in my past videos, and again, I'll leave links to those, I made these little fellas out of cardboard and tin foil, and then cut them and folded them up to make a little shade. And all I did was I just stuck it on there, and then I screwed it in place, because these things get warm to the touch, but they don't get hot like the incandescent bulb did. And it's more than safe. There's no way for this to short out in there. And I did have one person criticize me about these, but I'll tell you the truth, I checked it constantly for the first 6 months, and there was never any fear that this thing would actually have a problem. And having this on there really made a big difference on directing that light down, so that you got better lighting than you did when it was just up there without that lighting. So it got me by, but now I don't need that. This light here, though, I'm going to talk about it in detail for just a second, then I'll quit rambling too. But the thing I saw about this is that when you, not only can you use it as a standard light, but I got to thinking about this thing. This thing would actually make an awesome light in a couple other environments too, if you think outside the box. For example, if I took this thing and just took it off the wings off of it, cut the wire, put a longer wire on each of these, I could take this and put it underneath the counter in my shop. If you have cabinets on a wall with a workbench under it, this would make a great under counter light, give you tons of light. You could take this, put this up in the corner somewhere, and put this part in it. It could even, if you get one with the pull switch chain on it, you'd even have a nice little switch for it then, all right together, rather than having to wire in a switch and everything. But you take these off and you mount these things directly underneath your cabinet is what you would do. Then you could take, when you turn the light on, you get fabulous light up and down your cabinet from these three things when you're done. In fact, if you wanted to, depending on the size of your counter area, you could put two of them in there, take the third one and put it on a little hand clamp, and then you could clip it and move it anywhere you want around within the length of your wire. So you could actually have one that you could move around to wherever you want. This thing actually has a lot of potential. The other thing is they say, well, the clearance. Well, actually, honestly, if you wanted to, you could get yourself a can lighting fixture and probably plug this thing, or build one is what I would do. Build this so that it recesses into the ceiling so that these things set pretty close to flat to the ceiling, and this becomes a low clearance light in any ceiling that you want, and you can still get super lighting out of it by setting that up into the recessed area in here. So this thing has a lot of possibilities besides just screwing it into a light fixture if you start thinking about it. I suspect I'll have other things I can do with this thing too before I'm done. I've been thinking about. I think this would be a great light to put on a light stand that you can move around the shop and use this light. And if you went with this type of fixture on it, now this fixture would have to be modified. I should mention this real quick since I'm rambling. This fixture fits on there no problem because of the thread size and everything. But there is one thing about this light that you got to watch out for, and that is this fixture, this old light bulb doesn't fit in here, and neither will this one, because the threaded part is it's recessed in there. So to use something like this, I probably would have to cut this outer sleeve off. If you're in the shop, it doesn't matter. You can cut this off. If you were outdoors, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. But I wouldn't use these outdoors anyway. These things are not designed for that, so don't use it in anything that's a wet environment. But if I cut this off and use this as my stand, this thing can pivot, so I can turn it in any direction. You could get some pretty good light from this little fella, I suspect, on a standing light. This thing will actually put Medusa out of business, I think. So, you don't know who Medusa is? Do a search on my home channel of YouTube, and you'll see who Medusa is. So, anyway, this thing has some really great possibilities, and for $16 or $17, that ain't too bad. And I have to tell you, this one, if you like your light to be more diffused, this thing is even better than this one. So this one, they call this one a garage light. So if you put that in Amazon and you put in LED garage light, you'll see a whole bunch of examples that you can buy of this one. And I think the next one I buy, it's going to be the full circle one that has the wings on it, so that you have this full 10-inch diameter of all LED light. That's got to be a really cool one. I think it's around $30, but I'm not sure. But you can check on it. But take a look at these lights and check them out and see what you think. I think these things are a great addition to the workshop, and actually to everything else that you might want to use it for. And I suspect that the number of wattage that the lumens that this thing puts out can vary a lot, so that you can really go to many different types of sizes for where you want to put your light. Like in closet, then that should probably be a little overkill in the closet. but I'm sure they make different kinds. Check out the new LED light. Make sure it has the standard light fixture so that you can still use a standard light fixture for it. I think you'll be very happy with these. I know I will be, because like I said, I've already got 2 in here. I'm probably going to put 2 or 3 more in here. So for less than $100, I can upgrade my system here now from what it was even to this and get even more light for very little money. I love it. Going to this light fixture was a great idea when I did it. And today I can say I'm really glad I went this way instead of going with some kind of built-in fixture that I would now have to take down to go to this. So all I can say is thinking outside the box sometimes does pay off. If you have any comments about this, any experience with any of this or something else that I'm not aware of, I would love to hear it. Just leave it in the comments. If you have any questions, just leave that in the comments. If you like this video, you learned something here, hit that like button. That'll help me out, make sure I know I'm going the right way. Most importantly though, please come back again, because as the sign says, I'm nowhere near done. Thanks, and we'll see all you guys again soon. And just think about what all those other guys missed that left early. All this other great stuff. So anyway, thanks. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.